What's happening? John from Long Island Punk Band Wrecked. It is Thursday, June 16th. Uh, Reminded anybody who happens to be traveling in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area this Saturday, Wrecked's going to be doing our first out-of-state show at Finnegan's Irish Rock Bar, or something to that effect. Our first out-of-state show, like I said, should be great. So me and the boys will be playing there around 10 o'clock. So I don't expect anybody watching this video to go, but that is what it is. Again, thank you to anybody who came out to Mr. Beery's last Friday to see Planet Terror do our set of Death Proof songs. So thank you for that. It was a great show. I think I'd show another guitar of mine. There's a guitar that I really haven't really decided if I love it or hate it yet, but I'm going to go through it, show it to you. This is a Fender Jaguar Classic Player HH. This is a 2017, and I bought this new. No, I'm sorry, this is a 2015. I bought this new in 2015. Just a Jaguar, you know. It's an offset, really cool looking guitar. I saw it in Musician's Friend, and I loved it. And I'm like, wow, it's a really sick looking guitar. Read the reviews on it, and made in Mexico, Fender, and but it had great reviews. So I pulled the trigger, and it wasn't all that expensive, about $750, than what the gig bag it comes with. So I'd never seen a Jaguar with humbuckers, a production Jaguar at least. My first introduction to a Jaguar was my guitar teacher had one. He had, I think, a 67 or 65 Lake Placid Blue. And if you know anything about a Fender Jaguar, it has typically, the traditional Jaguar's got two single coil pickups. So my guitar teacher had one, brought it over, and I played it, and man, it was the cleanest Fender guitar you'd ever hear, you know. They were very big in the surf rock bands of the 60s. A lot of those players played these and Jazz Masters. Big, very popular guitars. So he had one, and it was a great sound, but again, not for what I was looking to play. You're not going to sit here, sit and play Metallica and Slayer riffs on a Jaguar. It just wasn't going to happen. So over the years, was probably 91 or so, when I saw Kurt Cobain from Nirvana with a Jaguar. He had a 65 Sunburst, and his was modified with two Seymour Duncan humbuckers in it. I thought it looked cool, and it sounded great. His tone was phenomenal. I mean, I'm not a huge Nirvana fan. The songs were catchy enough, but his guitar tone was nasty. I loved it, and a big part of that tone was the Jaguar. So I always looked at it and said, "Oh man, it'd be great if Fender made one." They're not making a Kurt Cobain signature, which I'm not playing the guitar associated with him. So you know, that was out of the question. But I saw these, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, these look really cool. And like I said, I read the reviews, and they were great reviews, and I learned a lot from reading those reviews, and I'm going to get into it. So yeah, I bought this new. I've played it live a few times with Wrecked, a couple of gigs I played with, and I'm going to basically break it down for you. Specs on it first. I think it's an alder body with a very heavy lacquer on it. This is Olympic white. It's very heavy, very thick. Maple neck, gloss maple, very heavily glossed. Lock and tuners, which I'm not a fan of, but they're period correct tuners. 70s headstock. Fretwork is nice. The neck is nice and quick. The two humbuckers are Fender Enforcer pickups. Okay, got the Fender floating vibrato. And I'll get into the controls a little bit later. So those are the specs on it. Short scale, I like it. There's things I love about this guitar and things I don't love about it. And first, let me tell you how these controls work. So you have the two humbuckers. Up here, you have a kill switch, which is comes very handy for the music I play. A lot of high gain. Kill switch is great. These are coil blends, so if you back these all the way up, it shuts off a coil on each of these pickups, and you have a single coil sound. It's not exactly a single coil sound, but it's very close, and it's actually very useful. It sounds very pleasant. Here you have a on-off for the neck, on-off for the bridge. Here's a what's it called? A low cut, which I won't use. I like a lot of low end of my signal, volume and tone. Now this differs from a standard Jaguar in the fact that on the standard, so picture this as standard, the top would be a rhythm circuit. Your top controls would only operate this pickup here. This would be on for the rhythm circuit, volume and tone for this pickup only. Down, you operate these controls, and again, on off the neck, on off for the bridge. This would be a tone strangle, or like they put a capacitor in it and change the tone. Again, whatever, volume, tone, same stuff. So that's pretty much the controls of it. Now, the pros and cons. Pros, it's a great looking guitar. It's the coil blends are very cool, very unique, and you can dial in as much or as little as you want. Very cool. The scale length I love. The fretwork is there. The cons, it's not a very, you hold it and play it, it's not very, it doesn't feel professional. And I have some American Fenders which, you know, feel like real instruments. This feels a little bit cheap. And again, it is a Fender, it's a Mexican Fender, so what do you expect? The cons also, in order to adjust this neck, you got to almost take the neck off to get to the truss rod, which is so stupid, I don't get it. But it's period correct for the time, so most guitars have the truss rod adjustment right here, which is very easy. This, you got back, take the neck almost off to adjust it. Don't like it. The pickups are kind of weak, not very punchy. Other cons would be, sorry about that, the switching. When I play a lot of, you know, I get caught up in the songs. I'll hit these switches and I'll shut pickups off, and all of a sudden I have no signal. So that's just me, that's user error, okay. Cons, again, the vintage tuners, which I don't like. But I'm torn, you know, I don't know if I want to sell it or not. They don't make this series anymore. This is a classic player series. They make a Vintera series, which took the spot of the classic player series. Again, Mexican made. These guitars now are going for like $1,000, and they're available in a few different colors too. So I might sell it, but you know, again, it's one of those things. I hate getting rid of gear because I always regret it. But in this case, I don't know if something comes along and I need to sell this guitar to get it. I think I will, because I really haven't really bonded with this instrument much. I mean, like I said, I played it live a few times, and I'll play it live a few more times. It just doesn't have it. Some nights I'll plug it into an amp, same pedals, same everything. It sounds great. I can come back the next night and do the same thing. Plug it right in, don't touch anything, and it sounds like dog shit. Very weird, you know. And I can't, you know, with being the only guitar player in the band, I can't afford to have that happen. That's why live I typically play the Gretsch's or my Gibsons. So that's it. I mean, I love the guitar though. I mean, it's a great looking guitar, balances well, and when it sounds good, it sounds great, you know. But you have to get into that, you have to get it right, and it's just too much work. You got to fight this thing. There's really no sustain on it either, so it doesn't really lend itself to lead playing, like lead playing I like to do. So, you know, I don't know, it's one of those things where you love it or you don't, and I don't love it, but I don't want to get rid of it either, you know. Other things that make this different than the standard Jaguar, I mean, they updated the bridge. The Fender Jaguar and Jazzmaster bridges are terrible to work on, so they gave it almost like a tunematic, if you could see that. It's like almost like a Gibson tunematic. But if you look, the break angle of the strings, I don't know if you really see it too well right there, it's not very great. It's almost like straight, so you don't get much sustain out of it. And the action is a little high, man. And I've just got this set up too, and the guy told me, he goes, listen, short of, you know, shimming the neck a little more, I really can't get this. This bridge is bolted down to the balls, you know. There's really not much you can do on this. Again, I could maybe put some lighter gauge strings on it and maybe bring it somewhere else and just get a second opinion. But it's not terrible. Again, it is a good guitar for what it is. Is it worth the money? Not, in my opinion, no. But they get in $1,200 for Mexican Fenders now, which is robbery as far as I'm concerned. But just my opinion. I'm just an old school guy. I wouldn't spend $1,200 on a Mexican guitar. If you have $1,200, I mean, for example, a Jaguar, an American-made USA Jaguar now, new 2100, the Mexican counterpart $1,200. So is it worth another $900? It's two different things, two different guitars. One's a Mexican, you know, approximation of it, and one's the real deal. And I see why kids love these, you know, and they're very popular, the Mexican Fenders, because you're getting the look. It looks great, and it's not, you know, it's not so expensive, so people buy them. But again, if you're, I've been playing for long enough where I know what I like and I don't love this. I gotta fight it more than I don't. So either way, that's the guitar. It's a 2015 classic player Jaguar HH. Um, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm not in any rush to get rid of it. So, but if anybody knows, if anybody wants one of these, like I said, they go for about $1,000 or 1,100 new. I can come close to that. But I already told you what I paid for it, so now it's a little dishonest, right? Anyway, so yeah, man, thanks for watching the video. This Saturday again, if you happen to be in Scranton, Pennsylvania, come check Wrecked Out at Finnegan's. Moving forward, I think we're gonna try to just write some more stuff because the gigs are packed. They're really all the venues that do the original music have all been scheduled way through October. So we might, I think we have a gig in Brooklyn in August, but other than that, I don't know if they see anything much going on. So back to the woodshed to write some more tunes. So hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a great weekend.